The market for Plaxico Burress is going to vary depending on how his agent Drew Rosenhaus tries to sell him. If Rosenhaus considers him a number one receiver, he may have a tough time finding the kind of deal he wants because the money probably won't be there. If Rosenhaus is willing to admit that Burress is a second or third option as a receiver and won't be getting the guaranteed kind of money that he would have gotten had he not gotten into any sort of trouble, then the market will open up a bit. We also have to remember that because of the lockout, there are a lot of wide receivers out there, and nobody can be really sure where any of these guys will wind up. So that can change the market too for Plaxico. The teams that seem to have the best fits for Burress would be ones that have a top number one receiver where he could slide in as a number two. A team perhaps like the Eagles. The Eagles are also known for being willing to try reclamation projects, of obviously Michael Vick being the number one example of that. So I think the Eagles could be a team where he could land up. He could also wind up out in Oakland, because Oakland will always take reclamation projects. That team needs a number one receiver. It would be interesting to see if he was to wind up there, how he would be used. And I think he also needs to go to a team that does not have a West Coast offense. I don't think that's the best fit for the type of skills that he brings. I think he's better off in a more pass-oriented offense that goes deep, and also in the kind of offense where he can maybe move in a variety of roles and not be set as a number one receiver no matter where it is. We will not see him back at the Giants for a variety of reasons. I think the main one is they worry about the locker room, and they worry about the fact that here's a guy that they're willing to bring back after a few years in jail, after the whole incident that happened that pretty much tore apart that team. I think he's got no chance of going back to the Giants. The Giants don't have any rights to him either right now. He's a total free agent. He could wind up, however, in New York with the Jets. That wouldn't be a shocking move. Burress is 33. He'll be 34 in August. That's not a terrible age for a receiver, particularly a guy who hasn't been banged up too much, and he hasn't. He's a big guy. He's pretty strong. He's not the kind of guy who's taken a tremendous number of hits through his career. So I think physically he might be okay, but of course he's been away from the game 2 years. He needs to show that he's willing to put in the work to be physically ready for football, which is a lot different than just being physically ready to walk out of prison. Burress's return to the NFL will be entirely different from Vick's for two reasons. Number one, Vick was brought in as a backup. He's actually brought in as a third-string quarterback in Philadelphia. So his rise there has been phenomenal. And when he came in, though, Donovan McNabb was the guy there, and Kevin Cobb was number two. So Burress will not go into a situation where he'll ride the bench. Wherever he signs, he's going to be used. He may not be the starter, but he'll get in on third downs for sure. He'll play plenty. So that's one difference. The other difference is that Vick was only, I think, 30 when he came out of prison, and Burress is 34, and those 4 years could make a difference, although I don't think Burress is all that beaten up. What will really be interesting, too, is to see if Burress shows any sort of leadership skills the way that Vick has since he came out of prison.